Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Pemirsa tvMu yang saya hormati, kita berjumpa lagi di acara Islam yang Berkemajuan. Hari ini kita kedatangan tamu istimewa, Duta Besar Kosovo untuk Jepang, Yang Mulia Mr. Ahmed Shala. Hari ini kita akan bicara mengenai perkembangan Islam yang berkemajuan di Kosovo, juga mengenai bagaimana masyarakat Muslim hidup di negara tersebut. Kita akan mulai, saudara-saudara sekalian. Your Excellency, Mr. Ahmed Shala, welcome to this studio. Yeah, we are going to talk about how is Islam developed in Kosovo and the way of life of Muslims community in Kosovo. Probably you can talk about that a little bit.
Sure.
Share with us. Yes.
Sure. And good morning. Good morning to everybody. It's my honor and pleasure to be here with you. I am here as a guest to Mohammedia, to your excellent forum, and to bring our views, not only about Islam, but about the whole life in Kosovo, and building the new state with values that are shared among different people of different religion. Exactly, I do see a lot of similarities between the life in Kosovo and the life here in Indonesia. Of course, in these days, especially in the world, I believe with some very extreme actions that some parts of Islam are doing are damaging our image as Islam. Islam is a religion of peace,
Yes.
and I believe that any religion is a religion of peace.
Okay.
So in Kosovo, Islam, I think, arrived around 13th, 14th century through the Turkey, and I believe it's one of the most modern Islam in the whole globe. Maybe we can compete, is Islam more modern here in Indonesia or in Kosovo, but I do see a lot of similarities, and in Kosovo, in fact, is not an Islamic state. It's not at all an Islamic society, but predominantly people who are living there are Muslims. I think with statistics it's around more than 80%. With the practice, I think that is what should be the definition, is probably much less. And we have within the same nation Albanian community, which is 95% Albanians. We have around 80% Muslims, and then we have Catholics, which are within the same nation, and Protestants. And also the Serbian nation, they are Christian Orthodox.
Okay. Right.
But there was never an issue with the religion in Kosovo.
Okay, Your Excellency, so out of almost 2 million population in Kosovo are Muslim. They are practicing Muslim. Yeah, they can be considered moderate Muslims.
Well, I mean, practicing Muslim, as I said, declared as a Muslim, there are probably more than 80% from those 2 million. But practicing, like praying every day, five times, or even one time, I think around 35%, even less.
Okay.
So we do treat that being a Muslim, being a good Muslim is just not going to mosque or not praying in the mosque. You can pray wherever you can.
Yeah, sure.
Being a good Muslim means being a good neighbor, being a good father, a good mother, good brother. It doesn't matter definition of brother and father. I think to the God we are all brothers and sisters.
Sure. We just want to go back a little bit to the history. So during the 16th century, the Islamization was actually minimal. Yeah, the second half of the 16th century, it was accelerated. Yeah, with the coming of the Islam from outside of the country. Yeah, and after that, if I'm not mistaken, Kosovo also went through a war. Yeah, where most of the mosques were also destroyed. So probably you can mention also, share with us how Islam was developed after the Kosovo War.
Yeah, well, it's a very bleedy history, I would say. First of all, conversion of the local Kosovar people, most of them who were Albanians, not only in Kosovo, but also in Albania and around in the Balkans. Because most of us were Catholics in 14th century.
In the 14th century were Catholics?
Yes,
Okay.
Catholics and Orthodox.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So converting into Islam was quite bleedy, I would say.
Okay.
The Turkish Empire has Ottoman Empire, sorry, has put it a lot of fines first, high taxes, even in Haraj. If you would not convert, you have to give a child or every son and send to the army for 9 to 12 years, and or this and that. So later on, people have started to adapt in that environment, and probably some of them voluntarily change. And then we have suffered a lot. I would say one of the reasons why a lot of disagreements in this, because neighbors have started to look through the window of religion, which is very dangerous.
Yeah.
But I truly believe that through the very modern Islam, I would say, and I would say again with a very modern Christian in Europe, in some parts of Europe, at least in the Balkans, the issue of religion was never an issue to fight for, between nations at least.
Yeah, yeah. So after the Kosovo War, in that year, most of the mosques were destroyed by Yugoslavia forces, if I'm not mistaken. And then after that, your country went through a period where you got independence in 2008. Yeah, maybe just a little bit about that.
Yes, Kosovo was annexed by Yugoslavia in 1913, particularly by Serbia, in fact, in 1913, and then without our will, it is one nation in Balkan, which is Albanian, and then another nation is Serbian, and another nation is Croatian, and Bulgarian or Greece. So the nation of Albanians have been divided, have annexed by Serbia in 1913, without our will. So between two wars, First War and Second War, we lived in so-called former Yugoslavia. And then again for 3 years during 4 years in fact, during the Second World War, we again were united.
Okay, Your Excellency, thank you very much. So I think I just want to explain a little bit to the audience. Yeah.
Thank you.
Pemirsa tvMu yang saya hormati, tadi kita berbicara dengan Yang Mulia Ahmed Shaleh, Ambassador atau Duta Besar Kosovo untuk Jepang. Beliau tadi bercerita tentang bagaimana penduduk Kosovo sebanyak kurang lebih 2 juta populasi di sana, sebagian besar adalah Muslim. Dan Muslim di sana berkembang sebelum abad 16. Sebelum abad 16 Islam belum begitu berkembang, tapi lalu di pertengahan abad ke-16 percepatan pertumbuhan Islam cukup pesat sampai adanya perang Kosovo, di mana sebagian besar masjid dihancurkan oleh pasukan Yugoslavia. Setelah itu Kosovo terus berkembang sampai meraih kemerdekaan di tahun 2008. Pemirsa, kita akan sambung setelah break berikut ini. Terima kasih. Pemirsa tvMu yang saya hormati, kita kembali di acara perbincangan kita dengan Yang Mulia Duta Besar Kosovo untuk Jepang, Mr. Ahmed Shaleh. Your Excellency, thank you very much. You mentioned before about the Kosovo War, where most of the mosques, I think about 218 out of 540 mosques were destroyed by the forces of Yugoslavia. So probably you can elaborate a bit further, how the reconciliation process took place and how Islam developed after that, until your country reached independence in 2008.
Thank you. Well, it was a difficult time. I think I would like to talk more probably how we are building reconciliation and peace than talking about the war.
Sure, after the war, of course.
Exactly. Because I truly believe that every nation gone sometimes through a very difficult time.
Sure.
We were very unfortunate living in the age of a regime in Serbia who had, after Tito's death, had a very nationalistic and expansion philosophy. The problem with Serbia was that they have a memorandum called Čubrilović Memorandum, which has been designed somewhere early on the 20th century and the first part late 19th century, which has a platform kill 30% of the Albanians, convert 30% and expel 30% of population to extend the territory. So there is a combination of nationalism, I would say religion, but more about territory. Kosovo is a very rich country with minerals.
So at the time, the Kosovo was
part of Yugoslavia.
Yugoslavia.
Correct.
Okay.
So for many years, it was in a very systematic manner expulsion of Albanians.
Even after the Kosovo War, yeah?
No, I am saying after Second World War until the Tito's life. So for 45 years, during 50s, immediately after the Second World War, more than 250,000 of population of 1 million at the time. So one-fourth of population has been expelled, mostly to Turkey. Why to Turkey? Because Turkey was the closest Muslim country. So expel Albanians to Turkey and some others to the United States.
How many were killed?
Well, at that time, after Second World War, not very much killed, but mainly systematically pressured and moved. Then I am talking after Tito's death. Tito was a little bit kind of smart, strategic, trying to put all nations together and all religions together. So he kept, even under communism for 40 years, kind of tolerant coherence or coexistence or joint Yugoslavia. After Tito's death, Serbian President Milosevic jumped up over everybody, not only against us, but against also Slovenia, Croatia, Macedonia, Montenegro, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and started the war. First in Slovenia. And then Slovenia says, no, we don't like to live with you guys. You are changing the rules. We lived together in Yugoslavia with Tito for 40 years. It was not very good, but it was tolerable. And now you are changing the rules. We don't like to live with you anymore. And then Croatians, 2 years war. Forget. Declared independence, Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, Macedonia, and then Kosovo. During the Kosovo War in 1997, 98, and 99, we were very weak because we didn't have army. We have started peacefully in 1989 to say, with peaceful movement like Mahatma Gandhi movement, our President Rugova said, peace, democracy. But no ears in the international community, no understanding in the Serbian side, and they have sent army to kill people and expelled. Around 400,000 Albanians has been expelled from Kosovo before starting the heavy war, and then 1 million, which is 50% of population, has been expelled. 280 mosques has been destroyed, around 214,000 houses, including my house, my family, my wife, and my kids were refugees in Macedonia. So half of the population, when I say half of population, like 130 million of Indonesians to be expelled from big 5% of population minorities which are. So now after such a genocide, I would say, international community, mostly democratic world, United States, European Union, with NATO has intervened and stopped the genocide, and all that refugees returned back. I remember when I returned back, I didn't have home to where to sleep because it was burned. So, but nevertheless, we loved our country, we came back, and one thing, during the war, in fact, no church almost has been touched.
Oh, okay.
We could have burned those churches, but we, despite of that, churches were mostly Orthodox and dominant people were Serbs, Albanians. No church has been touched during the war or after the war immediately. Unfortunately, in 2004, then a dirty scenario cooked very badly against us, I would say, against our image. Some churches has been destroyed, I would say quite some. So what this war has brought, tragedy dish for both sides. And my call is here. So let's try build peace and find a solution. In 2008, after 3 years negotiation with Serbia, from 2005 to 2008, in the chairmanship of President Ahtisaari, who is a Nobel Peace Prize, a very well-known person here for Indonesia, who has brought also peace in Aceh. He was the head, on behalf of United Nations and international community, of the negotiation team, together with Russians, Europeans, and Americans. 3 years negotiation between Serbia and Kosovo.
That was in 2004, right?
2005 to 2008. So mostly the negotiation took part in neutral place in Austria, and we have agreed, and international community supported, to accommodate most of the concerns of the Serbian minority, which is only 5%. And in Kosovo, majority of population, Albanians, have accepted that for those 5% of Serbs that are living, they will have 20 seats more in parliament than what they can go through the democratic world. So, democratic process. So we have 100 seats that goes in the parliament, that goes through the election process, plus 20 seats more for minorities. 10 seats for the Serbs and 10 seats for other minorities.
That's 26%, eh?
26% more seats.
Yeah, for the
Reserve
Serb
seats.
population,
Serb and other minorities. So 10 exactly for Serbs and 10 for other minorities.
Oh, okay.
Plus
so 20%.
20%. Plus Serbs or other minorities can get proportional what they can get through the election process.
Okay.
So in theory and in practice, if they agree all to compete together, they can have around 40 seats in the parliament.
Wow, yeah. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I think we have to break for a while. Ya. Pemirsa tvMu yang saya hormati, tadi Yang Mulia Duta Besar Kosovo untuk Jepang, Mr. Ahmed Shala, bercerita mengenai bagaimana perang di Kosovo, ya, hampir sebagian besar masjid dihancurkan oleh pasukan dari Yugoslavia, tapi yang menakjubkan pada saat itu tidak satupun gereja yang tersentuh untuk dihancurkan. Hanya ketika tahun 2004 ketika ada perang, ya, kemudian baru ada perusakan-perusakan di rumah ibadah yang lainnya. Tapi pada saat negosiasi berlangsung, populasi atau masyarakat di Kosovo bersepakat bahwa etnis dari Serbia, ya, mereka berhak mendapatkan 20% kota di parlemen, ya. Berarti itu suatu kompromi di antara kedua etnik yang bertikai untuk mencapai perdamaian, dan ini difasilitasi oleh mantan Presiden Finlandia, Matti Ahtisaari, yang juga pernah menjadi perantara perdamaian di Aceh di Indonesia. Pemirsa, kita akan kembali setelah jeda berikut ini. Terima kasih. Pemirsa tvMu yang saya hormati, kita kembali di acara Islam yang Berkemajuan bersama dengan Yang Mulia Duta Besar Kosovo untuk Jepang, Mr. Ahmed Shala. Your Excellency, thank you very much for explaining about the history of Muslim community in Kosovo. Now we would like to talk a bit more about how people now, Muslims, live their life in Kosovo. Just want to ask a bit about. I heard that the religious teaching, Islamic religious teaching proposed by Islamic-oriented political party, Justice Party, was rejected by the parliament. So what are the consequences of that?
Well, I think we are in a pioneer stage of building a state, and we have to be quite careful on many issues. We are at the phase of reconciliation between Albanians and Serbs and other communities. Okay. We don't like one decision to be seen as a revenge or as a barricading or whatever for the other minorities who do feel themselves now in the minority, as I said, Serbs. We are trying to make them sure that we as a new state, in spite that majority of population which are Muslims and Albanians predominantly, will never ever do what they did to us. We will never revenge in the way that they have did to us. So in that cautious, we are very how to say, carefully moving in any step.
Okay.
First. Second, we don't like to install an Islamic country in Kosovo.
So how
in
is
no way.
how is Islamic way of life is being manifested in everyday life? How is it?
So by our constitution, Kosovo is a secular state. So the church and the mosque and synagogue are divided by the state. Anybody who would like to practice Muslim or Christianism or whatever, they are more than welcome and free to go and practice in the mosque, in the synagogue, in the...
So what is the role of the government in facilitating, faithfuls, to do their religious practice?
Supporting in the most modern way without intervening in the way how you would like to practice Islam or Christianism. It's your way. It's, of course, many of the officials, they go to mosque and pray. That is no discrimination at all in that. Exactly how any country who does not install the rule that you have to practice only Quran or only Bible in your own life. The practicing Quran or Bible or whatever is an individual right, and of course a collective right too, but outside of the state institutions. And this is, I think this is something which is the best for Kosovo, and I truly believe that is contributing into the reconciliation and peace.
So there are Christian-based schools, also there are Islamic-based schools, right? I mean,
No. No, I mean, if they are private schools, they
private
can
schools,
go. I mean, but not in the state
public
schools.
schools.
No, in public schools. I think we believe that installing a particular religion school, or it's a division. In a public system, anybody is more than welcome to come to the school in spite of their religion, in spite of their beliefs, in spite of their color of the face or national or social class. In the private system, anybody who wants to open a school, they are more than welcome. Still, we believe that installing an Islamic school or Christian school or whatever will not benefit at least not in this generation, on the faster peace process.
Okay.
And that peace, I think, is more important than anything else.
Your Excellency, maybe you can also share with us, your country's experience in celebrating religious festivities,
That is a very beautiful question, I would say, because we do not, in traditional Albanian nation first, where we have Albanian Muslims, Albanian Catholics, Albanian Protestants and others, and then you have Serbs who are Orthodox, never ever a festive moment like Bayram, like Ramadan or whatever, was a divided celebrity, in fact, in sense. Whenever we had the holidays, we would go and celebrate in church with I would say with Catholics or with Orthodox, and they would come to celebrate with their friends to mosque or wherever they go. So this is beautiful, I would say, and we are calling all around the world that religion cannot be a label for hating each other, but should be an enrichment to everybody. If you have a friend who doesn't practice Muslim, you are much richer because you know for each other more, and or vice versa. So this is something that we are really proud of. Of course, there were moments, and there are moments, where these values and this relationship were in Christ and are in Christ sometimes. There are extreme points, being that in Muslim part or in Christian part, that are trying not this to happen, and we will stand firm on this, not to allow. We are very concerned about the extremism of Islam in the world. I believe that this damages Islam, and I think the best way and more successful way would be if we, the Muslim people, stand strong against those, I would say, extremism, because those are not Islam values.
Yes, Your Excellency, I believe, and I heard also there is a dialogue, interfaith dialogue in Kosovo, mainly between Islam and the Orthodox, yeah?
Correct.
And there is the Islamic community of Kosovo, which is the biggest Islamic organization, and they started interfaith dialogue with Catholic or Orthodox?
With all Orthodox and Catholics and Protestants and all.
Okay, yeah. Please, just 1 minute about it.
Yes, I think some 3 years ago or 4 years ago, it was initiated by our Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs. In fact, at that time, I don't think he was Deputy Minister. He's a young boy, very well educated, mostly in Europe, in Finland and Norway, who, in cooperation with the religion leaders, have started to say, let's have an interfaith dialogue. This is an issue, not only in Kosovo, all around the world. And I think in 3 years in a row, or within 4 years, 3 conferences. Last year was the 3rd, where I have participated too, and I think the one before, the last one, Mr.
So it's been 3 times conference.
Yes, Mr. Shamsuddin was there.
What year was it? 3 years ago?
2012.
12.
Yes, and
so you are going to have the 4th, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
And we are pretending to have every year.
Okay.
I mean, it was first was in one each year. Then I think it was missing 1 year because some organizational aspects. But we are interested to organize every year.
Okay.
And I hope that people from Indonesia can come.
Okay. Thank you so
often
much.
To Kosovo.
Sure. Okay. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your time with us. Pemirsa tvMu yang saya hormati, demikian pembicaraan kita dengan Yang Mulia Duta Besar Kosovo untuk Jepang, Mr. Ahmed Shaleh. Yang Mulia Mr. Ahmed Shaleh, beliau tadi bercerita bagaimana pembangunan perdamaian ya ditempuh oleh Kosovo setelah perang sampai negara tersebut mencapai kemerdekaan di tahun 2008. Beliau tadi menyatakan bahwa untuk mencapai perdamaian tersebut, pemerintah Kosovo berusaha untuk merangkul semua pihak, baik itu yang majority, yang mayoritas kaum Muslim maupun yang minoritas yang dari pihak Katolik, Protestan dan lain sebagainya. Dengan demikian, pemerintah Kosovo berusaha dengan secara hati-hati merangkul semua pihak agar perdamaian bisa terwujud dengan baik. Demikian saya kira pemirsa tvMu yang saya hormati, perbincangan kita mengenai Islam yang berkemajuan, dan Yang Mulia Mr. Ahmed Shaleh mengundang kita untuk bisa datang berkunjung ke Kosovo karena kebetulan beliau akan mengadakan konferensi interfaith tahun depan, yang kebetulan pada tahun yang pertama 3 tahun yang lalu dikunjungi juga oleh Ketua Umum PP Muhammadiyah Bapak M. Syamsuddin. Terima kasih.